And there's one thing interesting. I don't know if you get a COVID stimulus check,
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
$3,000. Yeah, I got that from my tax return as well. But guess what? I only paid like $60 tax last year.
What?
Yeah, because I didn't graduate last year. I just worked for the dining hall.
That's crazy. What are you gonna use it on?
Well, I'm going to use to buy a stove. It's called Taiwan Semiconductor.
Wow, I just use mine on groceries.
The Taiwan Semiconductor Company manufactures chips for other companies. Its top customers are Apple, Nvidia, MediaTek, Broadcom, Qualcomm, AMD, Intel, Sony, and Marvell Technology. I read financial reports for TSMC's customers, and I found that they always have something called inventory purchase obligations or commitment. These are obligations that the customers promised to pay TSMC to manufacture chips for them. For example, on this Nvidia financial report, I found that in the 2026 and 2025, the Nvidia promised to pay TSMC about 3.2 billion and 2 billion respectively. So if I use this number to divide it by Nvidia revenue, I can know that for each dollar revenue Nvidia generate, how much money they need to pay to TSMC. And if I can forecast this customer's future revenues, and then I can forecast TSMC's future revenue. I used how much money the Nvidia paid to TSMC to be divided by how much revenues the Nvidia can generate each year, and I found something interesting. Here, first, I saw that from 2023 to 2025, that number is about 3% and 4%. But I also found that in the past 10 years, that ratio has been decreasing, which makes sense because if Nvidia can really improve its efficiency, how much money the company pay to manufacturers should decrease, which makes me think about the future of AI. If AI can really improve the efficiency, as many people talk about, then how much money does AI product company to pay to buy advanced chips like Nvidia should also decrease. Maybe one day they don't need to use that advanced chips. Maybe they can use Qualcomm or Broadcom or even Intel. And by the same token, if Nvidia can really become more and more efficient and achieve high margin and return on capital, as many investment bankers brag about, then how much money they pay to TSMC to manufacture should also decrease. I calculated the ratio for all TSMC's top 10 customers, and I found that the ratio for NVIDIA is much more smaller than other companies, which makes sense not because NVIDIA is much more efficient, but also the NVIDIA has much more total revenues. The division in the mathematics will automatically return a much smaller number. However, the total revenue the NVIDIA contributes to TSMC is much higher because NVIDIA is a much larger company. So what I do is I first get the ratios for different TSMC's customers' revenues, and I use that ratio to multiply by how many percent of their revenues goes to TSMC. By doing so, I got a weighted average number about 9%, which means that all TSMC's top 10 customers spend about 9% of their revenues to manufacture chips TSMC. I did not include Apple in this chart because unlike these semiconductor companies, Apple only have part of its revenues that is directly related to TSMC. For products like iPhone, MacBook, iPad, of course, their revenues will be directly related to TSMC. But for others like Apple Music, iTunes, Apple Care, then they have nothing to do with TSMC's chips, so I have to estimate them separately. But how can I be sure that my estimation for TSMC's customers' future revenues are correct? Regardless of in life or in investment, there's nothing 100% certain. All I can do is to make decisions based on all information I have at the moment and keep updating them. When things works well, I will do the same way I did before, and when things doesn't work well, I can look back to see what mistakes I made. And every time after I value a stock, I will always post my estimated value per share on the public platform. Only by doing so, I can take responsibility for what I did, and I will only buy the stock when it reaches my estimate price, rather than based on what CNBC or analysts or Warren Buffett or other investors tell you, because this is my investment. And also notice these are prices to buy a stock. The price to buy and sell a thing are different. But what if AI can really replace human as many people expected? Then will TSMC and its customers have explosive revenue growth? Although in every past industrial revolution, there are always new professions pop up as the old ones disappear. But let's take a look at if AI can really replace human, how much revenue growth Taiwan Semiconductor and its customer can grow. It is only reasonable to replace human with AI if the total cost for AI in the future is at least lower than the total labor cost from human right now. At this moment, all S&P 500 companies pay their employees is about $2.5 billion, and all software companies expect the revenues by 2035 is about $2 billion. If AI want to replace the human and software, then the total cost from AI should be at least smaller than 4.5 billion. If the total market size for AI product company is smaller than 4.5 billion, then how much money they pay to those advanced semiconductor company like NVIDIA or AMD will be even lower, maybe lower than 2 billion if this AI company want to maintain 30 to 50% profit margin. And as manufacturer for those advanced chips, the Taiwan Semiconductor future revenue will be even lower than that 2 billion. But why do I only use the total employee cost from S&P 500 companies rather than all the companies globally? You just go to some suburban area in big city or go to developing countries. You see whether all people use computer, all people use cell phone, then you know the answer. In this Taiwan Semiconductor free cash flow model, I first estimate the next year revenue growth based on the Taiwan Semiconductor past 12 months compound cumulative growth rate. And then I say, what if the all AI product company, their revenue will be 70-80% of all human cost and software right now, so that I can get the AI product company revenue. And then I will say, what if this AI product company, they pay 40-50% of their revenue to AI chip, like NVIDIA or AMD, and then I got these AI chip revenues. And then I will say, what if these AI chip companies, they pay 20-30% to TSMC to manufacture for them, and then I get the TSMC revenue. I use that number as the year 10, and then I gradually decrease the TSMC current high growth to gradually decrease to the growth rate in the year 10, and then I know the TSMC future growth. But the future is uncertain. How could I know how many percent replace cost the AI product company can have to replace all human and software? But I don't need to be sure. I just need to consider different scenario. Here I say, what if the total AI product company, their revenues is about 80% to 50% of current human cost and software? And then I will say, what if this AI product company, they spend from 50 to 80% to buy AI chips? And then I will say, what if for this AI chip company like NVIDIA or AMD, they spend like 9% to 60% for TSMC to manufacture? That number right now is about 9%. And even I consider all of this scenario, the median value per share for TSMC is about 178.32. And that's not going to happen, because if you are an AI company, if you want to maintain a high profit margin, you are not going to just spend 50 or 60% to buy chips. And by the same token, if you are an AI chip company like Nvidia or AMD, if you want to maintain a high profit margin, you are not going to spend 30% revenues to TSMC for just manufacturing. So after considering some more reasonable scenario, a value per share range for TSMC is about 137 to 155. And I will buy the stock again if the price falls below this price range. Looking back at my valuation, the reason why I can got the number right is because my understanding for TSMC business model. Also, because I found the inventory purchase obligation in TSMC's customer's financial report. But how could I just quickly find that item? It's because I have been reading financial reports for companies for years, and this applies to my life. Many times in your life, we have a goal we want to achieve, but even if at the end of the day, we didn't achieve the goal, when we look back, what we have worked has shaped who we are today.